The first MacroWatch video of this year explained why economic systems collapse when they fail to adapt to the constraints that bind them. The second identified the specific constraints that now bind creditism. In this video, we'll examine how policymakers have actually responded to those constraints and how creditism is now being re-engineered as a result. This is the 13th video in the Creditism 101 series. Once constraints become binding, policymakers can no longer rely on technocratic fixes to stabilize the system. At that point, preserving the system requires changing how it operates, not just how it's managed. That's the situation creditism is in today. The question is no longer how to stabilize creditism, but how it's being re-engineered to function under new political, geopolitical, and credibility constraints. For decades, policymakers responded to mounting stresses by stabilizing creditism rather than redesigning it. They expanded government debt and central bank balance sheets, intervened to reflate asset prices during sell-offs, and relied on globalization to restrain inflation and wage pressures at home. Those strategies preserved the system, but they didn't resolve its internal contradictions. When national security concerns, political consent, and fiscal and monetary credibility became binding constraints, stabilization was no longer sufficient. By the mid-2010s, a political backlash had emerged against the outcomes produced by late-stage creditism. That backlash reflected frustration with trade, globalization, deindustrialization, and elite-driven economic governance. For many voters, economic efficiency no longer translated into rising living standards or security. Political consent for the existing economic model began to erode. That backlash played a central role in the election of Donald Trump as president in 2016. Trump's election marked the point at which policymakers began altering the structure of the system itself, as geopolitical rivalry and social fragmentation could no longer be contained using the policy tools that had worked in the past.